You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin.
It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, nerd culture, and most importantly, video games, you come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. This is podcast number 336. And I have a few things I want to talk about with you guys. I'm going to get into some Overwatch 2 news. I'm going to also talk about some Cyberpunk 2077. Also got some Spiderman 2, some Mario Wonder. And we also have my Anime Watchlist, of course. And we also have a Dragonball update, a small one, but it is an update. And something about a RoboCop game. I'm going to talk about that too. And it's something that most of us would probably put two and two together and come up with the answer, but I'm going to talk about that. And then also, finally, I'm going to talk about something very important. I kind of had an epiphany when it comes to video games and how I buy video games and all of that. And I kind of gave you guys a little sight into the future on maybe me discussing this, but I'm going to dive deep into that. And it makes sense to me. I think a lot of you guys are already doing that now, and I'm going to get into all of that. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the show. And I'm going to start with the Overwatch news. I'm not a big Overwatch guy, never really was, but apparently, a lot of people are, and they are in deep water again. This is Blizzard, Activision. What else is new? But they're in hot water again, supposedly over a $40 skin, okay, a paywall skin that they're charging people for, all right, in the game. Now, Overwatch 2 is now a free-to-play game, so I understand that when you have free-to-play games, there is some sort of money in place where, hey, it's free, but we have these things for sale. But, most companies tend to have reasonable prices. Well, I'm not going to even say most companies because a lot of companies are pulling out warm butter when it comes to this stuff. So can't say that, but a lot, I will say, of developers and a lot of companies don't try to pull that butter out on you. But apparently we already know that Activision Blizzard has had their own butter for years now in store shelves across the globe, over in Europe, over in the West, out here, and also in the East, Japan, all those places out there. So please don't get it twisted. This company is treacherous and they do want your money. Okay. They want every fucking penny. So whenever I hear Activision Blizzard free to play, I run. And I suggest you guys do the same. But that's what's happening right now. And like I said, Bobby Kotick, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't really give a fuck. But he was the CEO, and he technically currently still is right now until the end of the calendar year. And then he will be departing finally. And hopefully, guys, I pray that Microsoft can get it together and put somebody in place who actually gives a damn about the players and not just about making a fucking dime, okay? You have to have a perfect balance with that. Of course, people get hired to fucking make companies money. Understandable, right? But at the same time, there should be a balance involved in that. There should be some sort of decency when you're dealing with customers who are buying your product. And these guys don't exercise that at all, in my humble opinion. And that's maybe why, a portion of the reason why he's leaving. Of course, he's getting a golden parachute and he's gonna, he's not gonna suffer too much of anything. He's still gonna live a nice, lush life, but still, to have him out of there is just a breath of fresh air to me and probably to a lot of people out here, and especially guys who are fans of Activision Blizzard games, or at least they used to be. And hopefully with this guy out of here, 2024 might be a promising year. But these things take time to rev up. It's not as simple as turning on a switch and then ta-da, we're here. It requires time, patience, and it's going to take some time, I think, before we really start to see Activision Blizzard turn over a new leaf, even though they're under the Microsoft brand right now. So I wouldn't hold my breath just yet. I would look maybe second half of 2024 before you start to see things take effect. And it could be even later than that. So like I said, guys, the most important thing is that this guy's getting out of here. So hopefully they make some better decisions with how they monetize a lot of their games. That's all I can say. Now I have a discussion I want to have, and it surrounds Cyberpunk 2077. Now, just a tiny update. I mentioned this previously before. Nothing that most of us don't know if you're digging on all news Cyberpunk 2077. I will say that I am really excited about CD Projekt Red's ventures moving forward. They have a lot of stuff in the kitchen cooking right now, guys, not just Cyberpunk stuff. They have some Witcher stuff, of course, and they have a lot of things that are planned for the foreseeable future. And I'm excited about that because all in all, for the most part, I think they're an excellent company. And I really don't even blame them for what happened with the Cyberpunk 2077 thing. I really blame the devs. I mean, I'm sorry, not the devs. The devs are who I don't blame. I blame the suit and ties. I blame the corporate portion of this company for doing that, because they're the ones who have the final say on when a game should be released, when a game should be held back, so on and so forth. Okay. When you're dealing with these companies that are publicly traded, you have an extra layer of pressure that tends to get put on these companies. Okay. And most people who invest in these companies want to see results. They want to see their stock grow. They want to see their investment thrive. And a lot of these people, they want to see it now. They don't want to wait. And that's really not, in essence, how that shit works. Okay. It takes time for those things to kind of prosper, and you have to wait for things to come out and work. Okay. Because to be honest with you guys, those shareholders that were breathing down the necks of these companies, they ended up fucking Cyberpunk 2077 when they could have actually helped them by just holding off on the release date until everything was working properly. Okay. That they did get a quick bust or a quick bump because everybody was so hyped for the game and they went and bought the game. But still, in the end, he ended up taking a dive. And now they're finally just now picking up the pieces to all of this stuff. So I will just leave it at that. But I am very excited for what they have coming in the future, though. And I think they learned their lesson from this fiasco, everything that took place. And hopefully now the higher ups and the suit and ties will listen to the devs when the devs tell them, hey, this game is still cooking. It's not ready to come out of the oven yet. And they'll take that word and run with it instead of saying, fuck that, put it out anyway, work on patches immediately. Hopefully we get that and we don't have another repeat. I think they're smart enough to understand that, but we shall see. Okay. But anyway, talking about Cyberpunk and the sequel, it's supposed to be called Project Orion. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, I think that's going to be quite some time before we get that, guys. I think when they announced the first Cyberpunk 2077, when they first announced that was, I want to say, back in 2012, 2013. And then we ended up getting it 2020 and it was still unfinished. So that was about 8 or 9 years. Okay. Right there. So I don't know how long that's going to take for them to make this game and put it out. But if you're going off of just a track record of the first Cyberpunk game, then you're going to be looking at some time. And then on top of all that, they're using the Unreal Engine 5. Now, maybe that engine will allow them to fast forward their progress on a lot of things that they've done. Maybe they can take this engine here, this red engine, and they can insert it into this new one, and they can streamline some things and make a lot of things better. I'm hoping that's what they're able to do. We don't know. All I know is that they are entertaining the first and third person views and where you're able to toggle between each one. And I hope that they do that. I hope they give us that option because it would be dope. It would. The only thing I see them kind of shrieking at on that is the animations, because in Cyberpunk 2077, if you noticed, you see, you can pull back the camera and you can look at yourself on a bike or inside of a car and stuff like that. Or when you go into photo mode, when you're taking still shots, it's all good, and you can do different poses. But as far as putting that stuff in motion, that's a whole nother division that's probably going to be working on that if they choose to go that route. And I hope that they go that route. I don't care how long it takes them, guys. Just get that part right, because pretty much everything else that they had, all the richer games and everything like that, that was third person. So I would love to have a third person option in this next game. I'm more of a third person player anyway myself. So hopefully they can make that happen, and we'll see. Only time will tell. Anyway, let's get to Spider-Man. Let's get to this game, guys. And Spider-Man is out now, and reviews are pretty good. The reviews are averaging about an 8.5 or so with the game. And I didn't play Spider-Man 2 because I didn't buy Spider-Man 2 like I thought I was going to buy it. And I'm going to explain why later on in the show. And I'll get to that, trust me. But as far as the game, lots of people have been loving it, enjoying it. And for me personally, I can give you an example. I was talking to a friend who hadn't played, believe it or not, hadn't played the first Spider-Man or Miles Morales. Okay. He decided to buy this game. I said, cool. Yeah, man. I'm going to still buy the game, but I'm going to get it on a sale when it drops down. And like I said, I'm going to get into all of that and the reasons and stuff. But I told him the reason why I didn't decide to get it was because it wasn't as, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't as dire for me as it was for him, because I've played both the other Spider-Man games in its entirety. I didn't run through the story. I did the story, but I did all the side quests. I did all these things from both games. Okay. I did the photo mode stuff. I played around with everything that the game gave you. I messed with it all, right? In hindsight, thinking back, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's not something that's just calling me that, I need this day one. And we all know when there's a game out there and we say, when that game comes out day one, I'm getting it. Like, no doubt about it. I'm buying it straight up. Right. And this game Spider-Man did not do that for me. I had to think about it for a minute, and I'm going to explain more in detail, like I said, later on, and I'll get to that. But anyway, let's move on to the other game. Okay. And that is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and that one is also a major hit, even better than Spider-Man. Okay, it's got a slightly better accolades than Spider-Man. They're hovering around a 9.5 for most reviewers. Okay, now my friend did buy this game as well, which is crazy. He just bought a Switch. He hadn't had a Switch long. Okay. He bought it when the Zelda game came out. I talked him into it. He finally did it, but he's just now getting his feet wet with the Nintendo Switch. And, he hasn't even begun to, unleash the true power of the Switch yet. And, I'm going to touch on that as well, because that's part of my explanation of why I didn't get Spider-Man. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, the Super Mario Brothers Wonder game is definitely dope. I've never been a really big Mario guy. I'm a huge Luigi fan. I love all of the Luigi games. I have all of the Luigi Mansion games and stuff. And that's my guy. That's my mascot. Okay. And there's certain games in the Mario universe that I do like. Some of my favorites include Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers 2, and Super Mario Brothers 64. Okay. Those are my main ones, and that's not in any order, but those are my favorite Mario games right there. And everything else is cool. Super Mario Brothers World was cool. I remember that. I had great fond memories of that when that came out on the Super NES as well. But as far as, all the other stuff, man, this new game here, more power to Mario for that. But it wasn't a game that I felt I had to buy day one. Okay. Especially when you're talking about the Switch. When I think of the Nintendo Switch, compared to everything else, I think of that more of like a baby Steam Deck or something, with their dope IPs, of course. Please don't get that twisted, but those aren't the IPs that I were digging. Now I'm more of a, Daimon X Machina, Astral Chain, type of guy, that's me, Bayonetta, that type of thing. So that's my jam over there. And I'm just happy that the game did well and it's doing well. And like I said, it should, you know what I'm saying? It's a Mario IP, and that's the power of Nintendo. I talk about it all the time, guys. They make games and they make them so good. Like, their first party games are so good. And you got to think about this hardware that they're working with here. This Tegra chip is old as fuck. Okay, in computer years. All right, if we talk about that, it's like it ages extremely fast, and they're still putting this shit out. So that in itself is a feat that, you know, kudos to all the devs over there at Nintendo for that, man. I mean, seriously, they just know how to do shit. And it's going to be crazy when that Switch 2 drops because when they get to fuck with that hardware over there, oh, they're going to be able to do some amazing things. Okay. Some amazing things. And I'm talking about a piece of hardware, even in the Switch 2, that's not even going to rival the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X or S. Okay. But they're building it. They're building a hybrid chip. Okay. There's nothing that we can base this off of, okay? In other words, so they're not taking something that most developers know about, okay? They're taking something and then they're making it their own. So it's going to be their own kind of patent. They're going to be doing certain things that only they do and understand in-house, closed doors. And that's the cool thing with Nintendo. That's what makes them who they are, right? They just know how to do shit within their own house. And that's a cool thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's going to get crazy. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll leave it at that. But let's move on to something else here. And my anime watch list is next on the list. So let's talk about that. It's really boring. Not a lot going on here, guys. I watched some King and Ashura. I didn't finish that one yet. I'm bouncing around all over the place. I am still watching One Piece, enjoying my time there, approaching like 340, 345, somewhere in there. And also I am taking a gander at Rurouni Kenshin. So I've been watching that, the remade version of that. So kind of slow boogie right there with that one after about 4 episodes in. Yeah, so kind of going there. And the crazy thing with that Rurouni Kenshin shit is that, I'm watching it. I watched the first episode is dubbed, English dubbed. And then the next one is not. And I think there's most of the episodes out. I didn't check, but I did a quick glance and I know I saw like 8 or 9 episodes, right? Bro, they're not, there's only one that's dubbed. So I don't know what's going on with this dub shit. They're trying to catch up what it is, but I'm just going to start watching subs. I'm going to start subbing unless it's completely finished. And I know for a fact that the dub is there because I just can't keep doing this to myself. I get used to one version and then I get, thrust into another version and I have to deal with that midway through. I don't like that. It really just irks me. So I like to just keep my mind set on one and just go from there, man. I'm waiting on One Piece to do that to me too as well, because there's no way they got all those dubbed and caught up, with One Piece. They may have like 500, 600 episodes dubbed right now, and then the rest are playing catch up. They did that with Naruto as well. I mean, I remember back in 2017 when I watched that and it was over with. Now, I don't know if they've got English dub out now. I need to double check that and find out, because I would like to rewatch that, especially the Fourth Ninja War in dubbed. I didn't get a chance to watch that dubbed. All of that was fucking subbed up. So we'll see. But that's what I'm watching right now, guys. Jujutsu Kaisen's next on the list coming up. And then there's a couple other ones, man. Boruto. I want to get behind that one and kind of push through there. Also My Hero Academia. There's so many. But right now I don't have time to watch them all. So I got a couple and I'll keep it there. Next on the list, I want to talk about Dragonball, the Dragonball Daima update. Toriyama had this little message. He had this little thing he put out when it got announced or whatever, and he wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, what he was trying to do, what he was trying to convey or whatever. So I'll read it guys to you right here verbatim. It's, "Hello, I am Akira Toriyama. I'm currently working on a new Dragon Ball. The title is Dragon Ball Daima. Daima is a made-up term, which in Japan, it's spelled and it means evil. Okay. Due to conspiracy, Goku and his friends are turned small. In order to fix things, they'll head off to a new world. It's a grand adventure with intense action in an unknown and mysterious world. Since Goku has to make up for his petite size, he uses his power pole to fight. Something not seen in a long time. I came up with the story and settings as well as a lot of the designs. I'm actually putting a lot more into this than usual. Things will unfold that close in on the mysteries of the Dragon Ball world. Hope you all enjoy these different form usual battles that are cute and powerful. Now that was Toriyama's message, okay, that he wanted everybody to hear. I told you guys last week I didn't know what Toriyama was doing. After reading that, I still don't know where he's going with it. Only thing I come up with from that is that he's kind of redoing the Dragon Ball stuff that he did. A lot of you guys who are Dragon Ball fans, hopefully you've seen Dragon Ball, but I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen Dragon Ball. They just focused on Dragon Ball Z, and a lot of people probably just watch Super, But anyway, Dragon Ball, when it started out, was Goku as a kid, So it's kind of like he's hitting that reset button, kind of like what Mortal Kombat 1 is doing right now. I guess a lot of people, not just me, but a lot of people are just perplexed because we just don't know where this is going. Okay. He explained briefly what the synopsis was. Okay. Now, how long is this going to last? Is it going to last a season? Is this just a separate thing from everything else? And are we ever going to get Dragon Ball Super again? Is it ever coming back? Are we ever going to get those manga chapters? Are we going to get those in anime form? All of these questions are what people have, and that's what most people thought they were going to get. We're not getting that right now. He's just doing his own thing. And if you don't know Toriyama, you got to understand that's what he does, man. You think just something's supposed to happen, and it doesn't. He's just going to do what he wants. And that's the harsh reality as a Dragon Ball fan. Sometimes you have to accept these things. There's a lot of characters. I've talked about them many occasions. A lot of my favorite characters he's shit on, and I just had to take it. There's nothing I could do about it, even though it doesn't make sense, even though he wrote them in a certain way. It's almost like he contradicted the writing in his own characters that he made, but he had so many of them, and he'll admit this to anyone. He'll tell you, hey, I forget a lot of my characters. Okay. Their abilities, all these things. Okay. All the time. I have so much stuff in my head, so many things. So of course he's got favorites in his head that he's created for whatever reason, whatever makes them his favorite. They're just his favorite. Nobody can change that. And he chooses to write his stories how he writes them. All right. And I just happen to like a character that is not one of his favorite characters, and he really doesn't care for, and I'm talking about Tien, but that's fine. One of my other characters is Vegeta, so that's cool. But in Frieza as well. So there's a couple that still are packing some heat, but I just, as far as the story is concerned and where he's going with this, and if we're ever going to see another Dragon Ball Super anime episode again, that is up in the air, because this is not Dragon Ball Super. This is Dragon Ball Daima. This is completely something different. This is separate from everything else. Now, I'm sure there's going to sell a shit ton of merch with it and all of that. And I'm always going to watch what is going to get put out first before I make my final judgment on it, because it's Dragon Ball shit. So I am going to watch it. I mean, no matter what, he could make a whole anime about Vegeta on the toilet shitting every episode. I'd sit there and watch it. Okay. I'll give everything a chance. I even gave the other one a chance, and I think we all know about that one, GT. Okay, they had some cool parts in there, sprinkled off in there, but watched everything. So all I'm going to say is, man, I hope and pray that this is good, and I really hope that we get Dragon Ball Super. We get that back at some point, okay? Because they've had plenty of time now, so much time that you can't use time and say, hey, you can't use that, because it doesn't make any sense. We have waited a long time. They learned their mistakes. They learned about their mistakes from their mistakes with Dragon Ball Super when it first debuted. And now they don't have to worry about playing catch up. They're so far ahead in the manga, it doesn't even matter. They'll never catch up to the manga now. So they need to just go ahead and start giving us something. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it. But I'll leave it at that, guys. because it can be frustrating. But we'll see, you know. And also, we may get another movie. Who knows what's going to happen out here? But I always say this: there's so much anime out there. Why are you waiting on Dragon Ball? Just try to find something else. There's plenty out there to choose from, and there's a lot of awesome shows out there. So I'll leave that right there. Now, this is something small and minor, but there was a RoboCop game. It still is a RoboCop game that is coming out pretty much every console. All right. And what fucked me up was the fact that they had announced it for the Nintendo Switch. Oh, RoboCop is coming out for the Switch. You know, every game doesn't need to come out for the Switch, guys. The Switch is not made to deal with all these things, but there are developers out there who, I don't know, they can't put down the endo sticks. They love to smoke their sherm, and their sake glasses are definitely filled to the brim on every night. Okay. And they think they can get this done. And I don't even think it's the devs. I think it's more so the higher ups, of course. Let's put it on the Switch. Okay. You go ahead and try that, buddy. And apparently didn't work out so well because they have canceled the Switch version. And they did it ninja style. They did it so smoothly. They did it like a sneak diss. And a lot of people didn't even catch it. But now most people who are catching it aren't even surprised, like myself. Of course, I didn't even know it was coming for the Switch. I'm surprised it was even announced for the Switch in the first place. So yeah, let's just put that to bed. All right. Now Switch 2, yeah, they could have made that happen. But like I said, everybody is just, the Switch 2 is really starting to heat up. And these fans for Nintendo are rabid. I thought Sony people were crazy, but no, Nintendo, they take the book because Nintendo fans have, I think, if you're talking about male to female ratio type stuff here, you know, Sony and Microsoft and those guys, they're heavily male dominated. Nintendo, on the other hand, no, it's everyone. Okay. Like there's so many, I haven't seen so many female YouTubers around Nintendo that just, I'm telling you, all day. Okay. Every once in a while you get a female Sony player or whatever. I'm sure they're out there, you know, but from what I've seen, yeah, that's what you're going to get. But the Nintendo is ramping up. That hype is really starting to ramp up, man. It's going to be crazy when that shit drops. Of course, people are going to be scrambling to get one. It's going to be very hard to attain. You know, the first batch that comes out the oven, they're not going to have enough ready to for everyone, because I honestly would think that when that comes out, if everybody was able to get one, you're probably looking at, and no bullshit, probably like 25 maybe million people. Okay. And they're not going to have that many on, I don't think, day one. They could be gearing up like that, but I don't think so. I think there's going to be a lot of people, probably me included, that are going to be waiting before they are available, you know, waiting till they hit the stores where I can just walk in and buy one. You know, I'm not going to do the, hey, run down, try to chase one down. They're going to do a holiday season, so it's going to be even harder. They're going to try to scalp them, of course, all of that stuff. It's the world we live in now, guys. That's just what it is. And I'm not going to partake in any of those activities. I'll just wait like I did for the PS4 and the PS5. Both of those systems, I never got day one. I waited a year and a half before I was able to get them. And that's just what it is. So that's what I'll be doing for the Switch. Yes, I will be getting it. Now, if it's one available when it comes out, sure. Okay. But if not, no. And if it's backwards compatible, that'll definitely push me to get one, for the simple fact that, you know, it's backwards compatible. You can still play your other stuff on there. So my thing is, if it's a new system and it's coming out with new games, it's going to take some time for those games to start coming out, you know, and that's what I like to wait on. Like I'm at a point now with the Nintendo Switch now, the current one, it's just so many games out for that system. And I love it. I mean, I love it to death. I love the fact that developers are just doing their thing out here, because their eShop it's so different now. It just, these indie games are crazy, man. And I'm a huge indie fan. I love indie games, guys. If you're listening and you're new, it's not a secret. We love indie games over here. And that's where I'm going to segue into the last part of the show, because I'm going to explain in detail why I never picked up Spider-Man 2. And I finally made a decision moving forward how I'm going to, I guess, shape my video game life moving forward. If that makes any sense. I'm no longer going to buy games because it's just a new game. And I found myself doing that in retrospect, looking back, looking at all these games that I bought. A lot of them, I bought them because they're IPs. Hey, this is the new something game, you know? And when Spider-Man 2 came out and it was time to actually get ready to buy it, I had to seriously ask myself, do I really want to play Spider-Man 2 that bad? $75. Do I want to play that the most that I want to play of any other game? Is that the game that I want over everything else right now in my mind? And that, if I was honest with myself, the answer was no. Okay. Not even close, to be honest with you. I think a lot of that had to do with, like I said earlier, I played both previous Spider-Man games in its entirety. So it's not like, oh, I'm getting hit. I'm not, being wowed or anything by that. That phase is done. It takes a lot more to kind of surprise people, that shock value, after the first Spider-Man game. And like I said, after Miles Morales, I was like, okay, this game is good. It's definitely fun, but it's not something that I see myself saying, oh, I have to get it day one now. Even though I'm a Spider-Man fan and all this stuff, guys, So I said, you know what? I'm going to wait. There's something else out there that I'd rather play, and it's cheaper. And that's when I fell down this rabbit hole a couple weeks back, in the Switch rabbit hole, like just going on the eShop store, catching all these sales, checking out all these YouTubers who actually put out videos on a weekly basis on sales and all these hidden gems and things that you can get for, pennies on the dollar when you talk about these other games. $2 games right now. There is at least a dozen games right now that if I close my eyes, I can see is some of them are $1.99 on sale right now. Awesome games, huge games, and fun games. The most important thing, fun games. And that's what I'm into. Okay. Yes, I know Spider-Man would be fun. Sure. What else is out there? Would I rather play something else? And the answer is yes, man. It's that simple. There's so many games that I wanted and that are on sale now on the Switch. And I said, yo, $7.99. A lot of them are under $10. It's crazy. I can't. You get more bang for your buck, man. That's all I'm saying. So that's how I'm going to move forward. That's how I'm going to move from now on. I think when it comes to buying games, if it's not something I absolutely have to have, if it's not just calling my name, and we all have those games, we all know what those games are when they get here. Elden Ring was kind of like that for me. There was a few games like Final Fantasy 16 was like that for me. So we know those games, and if you don't get that feeling by that game, then I'm not going to move forward with that purchase. So that is where I'm at right now, and I'm going to wait for sales. Like, think about it. There's so many games out now that, guys, I think we all have a super backlog. I know my backlog is ridiculous on all platforms, on the Xbox, on PlayStation, and on my fucking Switch now. The backlog is stupid. Like, if God said you're done, you can only play the games you own currently right now, I'd probably be good for 10 years. No bullshit. Probably be good for 10 years easy. If I played every day, I'd be good for probably like 10 years. And that's the backlog. Okay. I'm saying that to say there's plenty to play. There's so much to do. If the game doesn't call me like I have to have it right now, then I'm not playing it. If I don't buy the game and have to play it immediately, then I'm just going to wait for a sale. And that's how I feel about Spider-Man. I'm just going to wait for a sale and buy it then. And in the meantime, when I do have time, because I haven't had a lot of time to play games this last couple of weeks, because I've been just working on a YouTube channel, trying to get that really going hard on this YouTube stuff, man, for you guys and for everybody else, just trying to grow this brand and this channel and stuff, and some of my other projects that I got going on. I've been working on that. So, I get to play a little Switch because it's portable, and, I leave the house for a few hours a day, and I take that with me, and that's what I've been playing. And so I just kind of got a little bit more intimate with my Switch, and this is kind of what happened. It's kind of like I'm discovering new things and all these hidden gems and all these other things. And it's just making me think like, yo, I'm saving a lot of money and I'm getting more bang for my buck doing it this way. And it's just a better way to do it. And then when it's time, guess what? Black Friday's around the corner. So, oh God, it's about to go down. I can't wait for the sales to see what we're going to have out here. And that's all platforms. What are we going to get? What are they giving us? You know, because like Game Pass, you got so many games on that already. Pay for that subscription. I pay for the Sony subscription, games on there. So just with those right there, yo, it's so many games. That's not including me buying physical copies of games out here. I'm starting a Switch collection. I'm really pushing forward now with the Switch stuff, like with the physical games for the Switch and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to play a lot of these indie games and then find the ones that have actual physical copies. And I'm going to go grab those and just kind of do my Switch thing for a while. And then on the Sony stuff, you know, I play my backlog. Same thing with Xbox, all those games. And then when games come out that I want to play, that I know I really want to play, I'll buy them. And the only other game I can think of right now, to be honest with you guys, that I would actually absolutely want to play day one is going to be Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. That's it. And that's February of 2024. So I don't see myself buying another full price game until then. Seriously. So everything else I buy will be a sale or it'll be a discount or a sale or something like that. That's it. That's what it'll be moving forward, guys. Same thing with the Switch. When their games come out, you know, they're $60 and some of them will be $70. I'm not gonna do that. Now we all know Switch is very rare that they come down on their prices, and sometimes it take forever, you know, especially like the Mario stuff and everything like that. But there are sales. You can catch them, like I say, Black Friday. You can get them from like secondhand, like eBay. I'm telling you, eBay is that spot. If you want that discount, go there. So yeah, there's a lot of games still on my bucket list on the Switch, and I'm just going to be focusing on there as well. So Bayonetta 3, there's another one. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. So even Mario RPG that I was telling you guys I wanted to get, I think I'm going to hold off on that. That's a $60 game. I think I'll wait for a sale. And in the meantime, I think I'll grab some eShop games. You know, I might get 5, 10, 15 games for that same price. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm on right there. Fattening up that library and moving forward, man. And that's the real reason why I am moving forward with this kind of practice now. I think it just makes sense to me. It really does, you know. And I think a lot of you guys are already doing that. A lot of people don't have time to play like that either. Most people have these full-time jobs and they try to juggle their gaming in with family, and you know, you got all kinds of stuff going on, and that's cool, and that's just what it is. So you got to spend your shit wisely. Hey man, I'm not going to spend $75 unless it's going to be, you know, something that I've been fantasizing over for so long. I'm just not going to blow that off in the wind for some cheap thrill. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like for Christmas, when you have small children, in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm going to get them this. They're going to love this. It costs a couple $100s, but they're going to love it. I think they're just going to enjoy it. Everybody's you know, playing with this stuff. We're going to get it from him. And then you buy it. And then guess what? Their favorite toy is that plastic spoon that you were using when you were eating your Chinese food, or that box that, you know, a t-shirt came in when he unwrapped for the gift. So you can't help what you like. And there's a lot of these games out here that are, I swear, there's indie games and they're cheap, man. They're like $4 or $5 and they're amazing. They're amazing. The concepts, everything. And you can't explain why. Why it does that to you. I don't understand why. There's certain games that it's the art style. It's a lot of things. The music. There's a lot of things, and a lot of these games kind of do that. There's this game I've been obsessing with over so long, and it's always been $20 at the eShop. And I said, man, I would have, if it doesn't come down, I'm still going to eventually buy it. But it finally went down to like $7, right? I think till the 1st of November, right? And it's about this, it's called Carry On. And it's about this, think of like Aliens in a sense. You play the villain in this one. You play the monster. You play the abomination, so to speak. Okay. And you fuck people up. You eat people, you kill them, you do all this stuff, you gain new powers, and you take over the world in essence, not necessarily the world, but in this game, this universe. And it's a brilliant looking game, man. And it's a Devolver Digital game. If you don't know about Devolver Digital, they're a awesome indie publisher company, and they put out a lot of dope shit. I think they also did Gumbrella, the one I told you guys about last week, I think it was, or the week before that. So they are good at picking games that are just different, and that style, they're good at it. Because Devolver Digital is a publishing company, guys. A lot of people think to be a good publisher, you have to make good choices, and you have to choose good games. So you have to recognize talent when you see it. So kind of like Square Enix and the games they choose for theirs, and same thing with someone like Devolver Digital. They say, oh, these guys know what they're doing. They got a hit here. We want you guys to come up under us, and we want to publish you guys. Okay. So they use their name, so that people understand, Devolver Digital is the shit. Oh, this is your next project. This is your next entity. Let's take a look at it. And that's how you start selling these things. Okay. So yeah, like I said, this is an indie game scene type of thing. And, a lot of you guys may know it, but a lot of you guys may not. But yeah, the indie scene is crazy out here. You get a chance to do so many crazy things in the indie scene and ideas. And some of these games are so simplistic, or the budget isn't big at all. It's just the creativity of the devs, man, that make the game just pop like that. And this is a game that I'd rather play than Spider-Man. Okay. And this is just one of many. And it's a $7 game right now, up until I think November 1st, like I said. So I want you guys to discover these things. And I decided to also kind of give you guys some insight into that on this channel. I said, you know what? I've been spending a shit ton of time on the, this website called Deku Deals, DEKU Deals. Okay. Like, Deku, like in the world of, Zelda. Okay. But Deku Deals, if you're a Switch owner and you're a Switch player and you don't know about Deku Deals, something's wrong with you. You need help. I'm here to do that for you. Okay. It's a super site, and it's not just for the Switch though. You can use it for any and all games. I think they do Steam, they do Sony, and they do Microsoft. So in other words, it's really it was made in concept on Nintendo, but they expanded, and now they do everything. But anyway, say you have a game, or say you're looking for something and you don't even know what you're looking for. You're just like, okay, guys, I'm looking for some shooters, or I need some hidden gems, or whatever the fuck. All right, cool. Go to that website and they will help you find that. Okay. So if you type in a game that you really loved, right? Let's say you typed in Zelda Breath of the Wild. You type that in, they'll give you 3 or 4 different titles like that title. So there's a lot of devs out here making games. You can call them Zelda clones, you can call them whatever you want, but they put their own concept on it. And a lot of these games are really fucking good, man. Like one in particular, I could give you a name of. Oceanhorn is one. It's a Zelda. If you like the Zelda stuff, you'd fucking love that game. You love that series. It's 2 games. The first one, which is on sale, I think still right now. Both of them are on sale right now. And then Oceanhorn 2. And Oceanhorn, I think, Zelda is like Zelda, but he also uses a pistol as well. So like I said, man, the games are awesome. These are some of the games, just something to give you an idea how this website works. So what's cool about the website is it gives you all the information on these games, right? It'll tell you how big the file size is. It'll tell you if the game is on sale. It'll even give you a graph and tell you how often the game has been on sale and the cheapest it's been when it has been on sale, and the frequency. So you can look at the graph and say, oh, this thing goes on sale probably once a month, like clockwork. And you can say, okay, well, it's 20 now. I'll just wait a few weeks and it'll be on sale again, and I'll get it then. It also gives you screenshots, and it gives you a link to your own Nintendo account. So if you guys know, of course, if you have a Switch, you have a Nintendo account where you put all your games that you want to eventually buy. Okay, so they're all up there, and then you kind of check them periodically and say, okay, this one's on sale, this one's on sale. Well, you can just go straight to Deku Deals and look up your list, and if you find one, it'll say, oh, this one's on sale. Click that button. It'll take you directly to your Nintendo eShop, and then you can get it right there. Perfect. You see what I'm saying? And it will send you emails when games that you've chosen become available on sale, so you can get notifications. And they do this for all systems. They also tell you if there's a physical version available and where to get it. So they tell you all of this stuff, guys. They give you all this information. And that's what a lot of these YouTubers are doing to make their videos. They're finding these gems, all right, and they're making a list and they're putting out these videos. So I said, you know what? I want to kind of experiment with that and try that. So I just I have a newfound love for my Switch. I've always loved it, but now it's just all the moons are lining up together, and I'm just discovering all these crazy games and stuff. And I'm like, yo, I'm ready to dive in deeper. So that's what I'm doing. And these are the games that have been giving me the most joy in recent weeks. Okay, these Switch games, right? That's just what it is. I think also because I haven't had a chance to play anything else, and it's been portable, so it's been with me, and I've just been discovering just fun games to play. Like, yo, this is cool. That's where I'm at on that, guys. That's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out, downloading, streaming, and listening to the show. If you're new to the podcast, I hope you come back. We do this every Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. And if you want to show more love and appreciation, which I always would like you guys to do, you can do so by checking out my handles, going to my YouTube channel, subscribing, Random Gameplay Pimpin on YouTube, Random Gameplay Pimpin on all of my other sites, which is TikTok. Go check me out there, subscribe there. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. I have a lot of listeners, and I would love for you guys to subscribe to the channel now. I have got so much content ready. It's ridiculous. I have a lot of stuff coming out. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on this channel really hard, and I'm trying to grow it. So lots of content, pretty much something every day. Every Monday I'm doing game trailers. So every Monday you'll get a new game trailer on an upcoming game. And like I said, there's discussion videos on there. There's podcast clips on there. There's the actual podcast in its entirety, which I upload later on in the week up there as well. So lots of stuff coming, man. I've been working hard on it. So definitely subscribe there, and I'll keep you guys posted. Also, like I said, check me out at TikTok. All my Dragon Ball fans, don't forget, go to DragonBallDrip.com. Buy a hoodie. It's getting cold. Get a t-shirt, get a coffee mug. Anything paid for there will definitely go towards helping out the show. So with all that being said now, I'm going to get out of here. Oh, I'm also doing a whole bunch of video game inspired t-shirt lines and stuff. I'm working on that stuff now, guys. So it'll be on my Pinterest site or whatever. And when you go to the YouTube channel and stuff, I'll have links and stuff for all that. I'll fix all that up, hook all that shit up, okay, for you guys. But I've just been working really hard on all this kind of stuff I got going on, and having a blast doing it. So I hope to see you guys next week. We're going to do this shit all over again. If you have any questions or any concerns or whatever, reach out to me on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, fuck X, at Studio MacGyver or at RGP for life. And that'll do it, man. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to edit this up and then probably go to sleep, because right now it is almost 4:00 in the morning. It's 3:58. So with that being said, I'm out. I love you guys. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next week. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.